Thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode 17 of ArkanSanity. I love y'all and God bless y'all for being rather radical. This is becoming a fairly normal program, and I'm honored to bring it to you. Um, I'm asking that you please subscribe, share, and like, and all of that. And thank you for everybody who has. I really appreciate all y'all. We've got today some Mind Your Manners, Brysonomics, a question over what we're going to refer to as the little season. Okay, some of y'all know what that is. Some of you haven't heard of that. We'll get into it, and I'm going to try to start a fire. Okay, so this is a bunch of random stuff in one episode, and I think that's what y'all love because that's what I love, and we get great comments. So thank you, thank you for all y'all's contributions in the comments, and hey, I'm getting some devious stuff in those comments. I'm getting some sexually perverted stuff in those comments. And I want to let y'all know this ain't no hanky panky. Okay. I ain't into none of that freaky stuff. Okay. This is a family friendly show. Okay. So none of that devious stuff. And, anyways, let me tell y'all what's going on the farm because I got to get y'all caught up with this farm news. The number one thing, and Ghostman will pull up a picture here of this old Noah's Ark. And what Noah's Ark is this boat that I had, and the boat it kept leaking a bunch, and it wouldn't really be good for fishing because it's always springing a new leak. So I turned it into a facility for chicks to live. Thank you for showing this, Ghostman. This is my pride and joy, and this is the Noah's Ark. It's got 4 floors. You can see the ground floor there. The boat is the second story. Then there's a third and a fourth. I'm still working on the third and fourth, but the first and second story are working really, really well, just as anticipated. I have about 75 birds in there right now, probably 20 ducks, and the rest chickens or chicks. Basically, the reason that I started Noah's Ark is because I really fear the economy is about to be really, really bad, and it's going to be worse than anything we've ever experienced. Thanks for pulling up those pictures, Ghost Man. Those are some cute little birds. They are. There's all types of birds in there. There's lavender buff Orpington. That's the rarest of the breed that I've got in there, and all types. I don't even know what some of the types of breeds are, and a lot of regular buff Orpington as well. Um, yeah, that's a duck. Very cute. Um, anyways, I think that the economy is going to be so bad that I have decided that I got to take action. I can't be waiting. I've got to up my number of birds, and I can't afford to just go buy a whole bunch of birds. So what I'm going to do is start hatching them. So I've built Noah's Ark to take these newly hatched chicks and raise them up for about a month before I put them outside in the elements. And once I put them out, they'll still have a nice coop, but there's the occasional possum or stray dog that might come and attack them. So in Noah's Ark, they're in theory perfectly safe as long as I keep any type of cats out of this garage, which I've been doing a real good job of. The goal with Noah's Ark is to hatch about 2,000 birds a year, which I can easily do if run at not even full capacity. For example, if I hatch 200 birds a month, or not hatch, but raise 200 baby birds a month. Times that by 12 months in a year, 200 by 12 is 2,400. So I can easily, by this time next year, have a couple thousand birds. I'm going to be primarily having ducks and turkeys, the turkeys for the meat and the ducks for the eggs. And I still am going to have a couple hundred chickens, but I would really like to have a couple thousand birds and a couple thousand ducks and a couple thousand turkeys. And there's nothing wrong with the chickens. I love the chickens. I just, the real reason that I want to start these ducks and turkeys is because I have a bunch of woods that I need to farm, and I want to run these turkeys in the woods. And I just acquired a pond with one of my real estate investment companies. And so we want to farm the pond. We want to put about 3,000 ducks on this one particular pond. It's a pretty big pond. And I think the ducks will flourish there, and we'll be able to sell the eggs and make a couple $100 off of eggs if we get a couple thousand ducks. So that's the plan. And like I said, this has all been jump started by the fact that I'm afraid the economy is about to collapse because of this World War III. You know, a lot of international trade is done in this Strait of Hormuz area, or at least that area is linked to a lot of international trade. I'm just telling you, all the oil is used to go through there, and China and Russia have an interest in protecting the Iranian people. And I really do think that this war between Russia, Iran, and China versus America is going to be so bad that we lose our quality of life here at home and our purchasing power of our dollar. Tater's behind me on the mats. Tater, get out of there, girl. What are you doing? Tate, you're supposed to be guarding the door, girl. um, yeah, so back to Noah's Ark. It's supposed to put out about 2,000 birds a year. Let's just say half of those are turkey and half of them are ducks. That'd be great. Actually, about 45, 45 on turkey and ducks, and then the other 10% being chickens. That would be perfect. Like I said, my goals, one more time, for the chickens, a couple hundred, maybe 300, 400, something like that. I don't know. The ducks, my goal is 3,000. I have a pond that's about an acre or two. And then for the turkeys, I want to get several thousand. And like I said, it's going to take over a year to build up to these numbers. So over the next year, I'm just going to be working. I'm going to be manning Noah's Ark full time. Oh, thank you, Ghost Man. These are the eggs that I'm hatching. That is what you call an incubator. And that machine right there heats the eggs and turns them for you. All you got to do is plug it in and make sure it has water in it. It maintains a perfect, 50% humidity, or 55 actually is what mine are set for. But yeah, if you get your heat, your humidity, and your rotation, and the egg is fertilized, which means a rooster or a male bird has got on the female bird, then the egg should hatch. And that's what we're hoping to happen. These incubators are pretty cheap too. This one right here in front of us holds 17 eggs, and the one to its side there with the orange, it holds like 70. So we've got 3 of them total. Those are 2 of the incubators that we got. The other one is inside the house. We put it in the laundry room because we had room for it in there. These 2 are out in the shop. As you can see, we haven't even put all 70 eggs in the orange one. We still have to go over the next couple of days. We'll be filling that orange incubator up. And once we have all of our incubators filled up, we'll have about 120 something eggs that would be hatching in 3 weeks. And so then they'll go right into Noah's Ark. And the 2 floors that are occupied, they'll move up to floors 3 and 4, and then the new birds will go in the in the ground floors. That's the plan. And thank y'all for checking it out, man. I'll keep y'all updated. It's a lot of work. I'm changing the food and the water every day and cleaning it every day. But I'm happy to do the work because I really think it's going to pay off very quickly when there's thousands of birds running around here by the end of the summer. I'm really excited about that. Hey, we're going to go into Mind Your Manners now because I have some great questions on there. And everybody really liked the last time that we did this. I liked it myself. I'm kind of excited because remember, guys, this is live. I don't know what Ghostman's about to pull up. All of these Mind Your Manner questions are fan generated. This is not AI or robots of the devil. This is people with souls asking these questions. Thank you for your questions, and God bless your souls. Let's get to it, brother. This is from Gabriel Chossman. Is it okay to go fishing without telling your wife? I mean, not generally. Now, if you was already somewhere and you happen to have your fishing pole with you, then that doesn't count because you wasn't really planning on going. You just happened to stumble across a good spot and have your pole on you. Now, if you embark upon a journey specifically to fish, I would tell your old lady it's a good idea because then the fishing trip will probably go longer uninterrupted. That's your answer. This is from DCrisp20. Thank you. Is it okay to take someone else to your buddy's fishing spot? Whoo! I mean, honestly, it depends on the spot. I mean, ain't that the answer? You already know that's the answer. Depends on the spot, brother. If it really is that honey hole, no. No, it's not okay. It's not. If it's a spot, you can take them. If it's the spot, come on, man. Keep the crowd out of there. That's a honey hole for a reason. And your buddy trusted you, so the answer is basically no if it's a real good spot. Is it okay to eat your buddy's snacks from Jock Packman or Jock P. Aman 24? Is it okay to eat your buddy's snacks? I mean, I say yes. I mean, without even asking, they should give you the benefit of the doubt. You know, they should assume that you could be starving to death. You know, what do they know? It could be an emergency. Your blood sugar could be low. Who are they to judge and say, hey, you can't eat my snacks? That's my opinion. You know, I would not leave snacks around me. This is from Baby Chishin. Is it okay to come grab food to taste from the kitchen before the person cooking it serves it? Absolutely. That's a guaranteed fact. It's called a taste test. Okay? There could be poison in that food. You're doing the community a service. Okay? By going over there and testing that food, you're making sure that nobody else is going to die. You're laying your life down for everybody else in the kitchen at that point. So I commend you. Is it okay to be mad at someone for driving too slow in front of you after you've taken a drill to the nuts? Yes, it is, and you know you just gotta pass them in that situation. Okay. Is it okay to eat while on the shitter? A Watt Deluxe. Yes, it is. I consider it perfectly acceptable. I mean, if you are eating chocolate, it is kind of messed up, but like I said, I really don't. If you got stuff to do, you got stuff to do. Okay, so I'm not gonna judge you. Bugnish. Is it okay to bust a nut on your buddy's hotel room floor and wipe it up with a sock? Nope. That's despicable. And anybody who do that, they're twisted. There's something wrong with that person. Okay? That's all I got to say about that. Is it okay to not bow before getting on the master train? Yes, it's okay to not bow. I don't really bow a bunch, but if somebody wants you to bow, if you see everybody else doing it, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Is it okay to fart while rolling? Well, brother, it's really not voluntary. You see what I'm saying? That's the issue. Is it okay to snap someone's arm in an armbar if they're a dick? Um, I mean, if you really feel like they were gonna get you there for a second and you finally got to a good spot and you really got to put that person away, I would go ahead and do it. But most of the time, these little gym skirmishes break out. It's really not that serious. And so if you're about to break somebody's arm that you've been training with for like 10 years, you know, I would really just restrain yourself as much as possible, you know, and try to de escalate the situation. Because it sounds like you're talking about breaking your training partner's arm. Well, he's not going to be able to train with you very much with the broke arm. Okay, so let's try not to do that. Is it okay to sneak something off the person in front of your? Well, I can't read, dude. I think I've been hit too many times. Is it okay to sneak something off the person in front of you's groceries at the checkout if you really need it? This is from the C4 Marrow. No, I wouldn't really be stealing the groceries. But if you really are starving and I see you stealing groceries, I'm also not going to say anything. Like, if you really look hungry now, if you're just a big fat looking pig bastard, and I see you stealing food, I'm going to say, hey, you know, you fat lazy bastard, you need to go work for your money. But if you look like you're starving, I'm probably not going to say anything. And yeah, that's judgmental, but whatever. That's just my opinion. If you're fat, you can't be stealing food. Is it okay to not shake a homeless guy's hand? Yeah, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I shook one's hand about a month ago, and then I thought, could this be a life altering thing? Because you don't know. You don't know if they got drugs on them or around them or in their system. So it's a very credible thought, in my head at least. Is it okay to fat shame someone if the person you're fat shaming is someone you love? Yes, I do believe that. Ben Crisco. I think we can make fun of fat people. They make fun of me for having brain damage all the time. I think it's fair. Is it okay to eat meat and eggs raw, uncooked? Yes. Specifically, the liver I eat raw, totally, hardly ever cook it, unless if I think it's like needing to be cooked immediately and, making sure it does not go rancid. But liver I eat raw all the time. Eggs I eat raw all the time. I don't cook them at all. Man, that was fun. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. That was Mind Your Manners. And now we're going to go into some Brysonomics for the day. This stuff today it's pretty brief what we're going to cover. It's also common sense. It's common decency. That's what we're going to talk about, because the past couple lessons of Brysonomics has been how to make a profit, what to do with your profit, and it's just been really focused on making money and all about what you can do for yourself. And so today I want to focus on how we could make Jesus proud with our financial investments, and actually talk a little bit just briefly about business ethics. I have an interesting case study for y'all that I got to study in college. It's the case study of the Ford Pinto and how it killed a lot of people. It literally burned them alive because Ford made an atrocious business move on purpose, by the way. I'm going to get into that. This is kind of like business ethics. So, um, from a biblical perspective, okay, as far as making a profit goes and what to do with our profit, obviously we want to honor the Lord with it. Here's a verse for you. It's Matthew 6:19 through 21. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in or steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That's an amazing verse. I mean, because all these nice guns behind me and nice tools that I have here in the shop, it'll all turn to rust. And then anything that won't rust, the moths will eat it all, just like the Bible said. And that was in Matthew. So that was wrote like 2,000 years ago. Nothing has changed, okay? Nothing is going to protect you eternally except God, okay? So everything is literally going to rust and turn to dust. Remember that. Okay, so when we make decisions with what to do with our business, or for example, how to pay an employee, remember to be as generous as possible. It's that simple. And for example, I have one full time employee. I feed him all the time. I give him long lunch breaks and give him bonus on weekends, like overtime hour bonuses. Also, give him a lot of food that I can spare, such as eggs and beef. I produce a lot of that here at the farm, and instead of going and selling that stuff, I just give it away to the people who work here because they deserve it. And I think I know that when I give stuff like beef and eggs, that God sees that and God blesses me And I could tell you a bajillion ways that he's blessed me. I think a lot of y'all have the similar stories. People that walk with God generally see the results of doing so. Uh, but like I said, when it comes to me, I personally, give back by giving a lot of food to other people. That's one way that I help out because I produce beef and eggs here. Here's some more scripture, Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. So just remember that, okay? It's very hard to determine what you should do with your money, but I think that you ought to pray about it, okay? And if you're praying about it and you feel guided by the Holy Spirit, then I would just act. That's what I did when I was building this farm. I've what some people would consider wasted all my money, because I don't generate all the money right now that I've put into this farm. But I do believe that one day, as we're putting all this money into the farm, that it's going to be very fruitful, very profitable. And I think that right there, knowing that I could better the community and pass this down to future generations and help more people in the community, um, I think God would be proud of that. So God is a huge motivation for why I do what I do. Like I said, with Noah's Ark, God was telling me, hey, this economy is going to get bad. You're going to need more birds. And so I built the ark. And I know people probably think it's stupid, but I'm just telling you, I felt called from God to do that. And I spent a lot of money on it and I spent a lot of time on it. So whatever you spend your time and money on, that's all your business. And I just want to let you know I fully support you, because there's going to be a bajillion people that say you can't do it or you shouldn't or blah, blah, blah. And don't listen to them. Be like me and build the ark in your garage while your wife is sleeping. You know what I mean? Don't even tell her about it. Just start building it and start doing whatever you're going to do. Whatever God is telling you to build, build. Whatever he's telling you to do, do. Wherever he's telling you to go, go. And that, I believe, is true discipleship, not just giving out money blindly, saying, hey, here's 10%. Hey, here's 10%. That, to me, is not what it's about. It's about focused, concentrated efforts every day, walking, making decisions with the Lord, saying, how can I serve the Lord? What is he calling me to do today? What's he putting on my heart today? And obviously, my example is building the Noah's Ark. It's right here in front of me. That's just for my life. Whatever God's telling y'all to do, go do. And that's how we can serve God with our businesses, instead of blowing our money on stupid assets that don't generate any profit at all. They're just for show. That's foolish, and I don't think God would be proud of Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all of that stuff. I really don't. When it comes to being generous to others, that's all over scripture. Here's Matthew 5:42. Give to him who asks of you, and do not turn away from him who wants to borrow from you. So that's Matthew 5:42, encouraging us to borrow. To share with our neighbors. And that's something I do all the time. If I get stuck, I've got some buddies that live right down the road. They'll pull me out of a ditch. That's service to God. That is discipleship. Okay. Pulling somebody out of a ditch. And if you have a truck and you won't pull somebody out of a ditch with it, I do think less of you. I really do. I really do. It's a truck. You ought to serve the community with it. If somebody needs pulled out of a ditch, you ought to help. I've been pulled out several times, and I've helped pull people out several times. Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given unto you. They will pour into your lap a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you in return. So there's God promising there in Luke that just how we give is how he's going to give back to us. And I firmly believe that. And when I came to Christ, that's when I really started giving back to others. I want y'all to know I never gave back to anybody else until I came to Christ. And since that day, I think I have done a good job. So, guys, that is obviously common sense. I just wanted to talk about that because it means a lot to me, and I really hope it means a lot to y'all. And I know that it does. We've got a tremendous audience out there with big hearts. So, God bless y'all. I'm going to share with y'all now what happened with the Ford Pinto. This is back in the day. I can't remember if it's 70s, 80s, or 90s, maybe even the 60s. I honestly cannot remember. But, anyways, the Ford Pinto. This one in particular, the Ghost Man just pulled up. It killed a lot of people, okay, because of a malfunction in it. Basically, if this Pinto, because of the way that it was produced, if this Pinto was hit in the back at over 10 miles an hour, it literally would engulf the driver in flames 99% of the time. So if you took an impact, if somebody literally just touched you in the back over 10 miles an hour, it's going to throw gasoline, which is there. It would also spark because of all the metal, and the gasoline would be lit, and it would burn the driver and the passenger most of the time too. Um, Basically, this was a problem because the gas tank, the fuel tank, was way too close to the back of the car, the bumper. I believe the back is the bumper and the front is the fender. Okay, but anyways, the back of it. That's where the fuel tank was. If somebody hits you from the back, which is like the most common thing, as far as a wreck goes, running into the back of somebody is probably the most common collision. If that happened at over 10 miles an hour, 99% chance that the driver's on fire. And it's a very slim chance that we're going to survive those burns. I mean, you talk about catastrophic failure from just a simple rear end collision at low speed, relatively low speed. So I was assigned to study this and present it to the class. Just in the first year, it burnt over dozens of people. They actually stopped counting, but it burnt over dozens of people alive in 1 year. Uh, I mean, it burnt hundreds of people. And that was because I'll never forget this rat bastard's name. His name is Lee Iacocca. And, I can't remember hardly nothing, but I remember Lee Iacocca's name. And I really think there's a special spot in hell for people like him. Because let me tell you the decision that Lee Iacocca made. He wanted to make this Ford Pinto, if I remember correctly, okay, this was damn near 10 years ago. I studied this, but basically he wanted to make these Ford Pintos under 2,000 pounds and under $2,000. So to move that fuel tank would have costed him more money in the assembly of the vehicle, something equivalent to about 15 more bucks. It was very cheap. For a very cheap amount of money, he could have moved the fuel tank from the rear of the car towards the front more, which would have took away the exploding on low impact from the rear. But he chose not to do that because he wanted the car to be made as cheaply as possible. So because he wanted to save $15 on each car, actually even less than $15, it led to hundreds of people. Look at him. Is that Leia Coca Ghost Man? I think it is. Yeah, that's him. Look at that rat bastard. Dude, what a scumbag. That's what it looks like, okay? And these are tested at low speeds. There's a picture of a Ford Pinto fully engulfed in flames. Basically, hundreds of people burned to death, and they were alive while they burned to death. That's what's so terrible about it to me. It's not like they were just boom unconscious in a car wreck, have no clue what happens. These people were fully conscious. These were low impact collisions where the only problem with them was that they were burned to death. There was no concussive forces to kill them. So they were pinned in the car while they burned to death. And Lee Iacocca did that from the Ford, the popular Ford automobile manufacturer back in the day. The Ford Pinto did that. Whenever you're doing something, human life cannot be accounted for in numerical value. It has intrinsic value that's more than the dollar. So, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And if God places you in a position like he did Lee Iacocca, don't be a scumbag. You know, think about all the people he could have saved just by making the car cost a little bit more. And guess what? The Ford Pinto would still be around. I mean, it'd be a very popular car because it was cheap and lightweight. It would have just been, it would have costed $15 more. Whoop de doo. You know, it would have had a great reputation if he would have changed that one thing. Actually, there was a guy who was going to make a flying car, and he did. He made a flying car, and he chose the Ford Pinto because it was so lightweight. And I'll be damned, he had a wing malfunction on it, and he did an emergency landing, and he crashed and burned in the Ford Pinto. I'll be damned, we would have flying cars if it wasn't for this piece of shit Ford Pinto. I'll be damned. The one guy who literally made the first flying car, he just randomly chose the one car that burst into flames. Anyways, if it wasn't for the freaking Ford Pinto, we'd have flying cars. And Lee Iacocca, don't be like him. He shouldn't even be making stuff with Ford's name on it. What a shame. Henry Ford would stomp a new hole in this dude's ass. I promise you. Henry Ford's probably turning in his grave right now. Anyways, that's business ethics, okay? That's what it's all about. Putting others first, putting human life first, putting safety first. Hey, it's coming from me, okay? I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm still here. And that's why I want to tell y'all, safety first, others first, God first. Don't put yourself first, okay? No matter what business you have, always think of others and think of how God can use you to help others. Man, I'm going to move on to this thing that people have been asking me about. It is called the little season. So, a lot of people are asking me, are we in the little season? What do you think, Bryce? And first off, I just want to simply answer the question because most of y'all know what I'm talking about. No, I do not believe that we're in a little season. However, I think we could be. It's not crazy to suggest that we could be. Now, for y'all who don't know what the little season is, I'm basically going to just summarize it for you real quick so you can get kind of on the same page with us. The little season is after the 7 years of tribulation, which is the end of times in Revelation. And the end of times is marked by the coming back of Jesus. And then after Jesus comes back, a lot of people call the little season, which is 1,000 years where Jesus reigns and there's complete peace on earth. Nobody's killing each other. There's no sin. Nothing evil is going on. After that 1,000 years of peace and tranquility, harmony with the Holy Spirit and Jesus and God the Father, after that 1,000 years, Satan is released. And this is straight out of Revelation. You can read it for yourself. And he is released for a little season. And a lot of people think that's where we're at, and that God actually did come back for 1,000 years, instill peace and all of that on the earth. And I just want to let y'all know, if that's what you think, I don't think you're crazy, and I encourage you to keep researching and continue thinking outside the box. I really enjoy the question itself. The reason that I don't think that we're in a little season is it cannot be more clear to me that we are following the script of Scripture. If you read Revelation, everything that it says is going to happen is literally happening, down to the vocabulary of our leaders. They're saying now, for example, Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, they're saying this is going to be the Battle of Armageddon. Well, the Battle of Armageddon, that happens after the tribulation, but, you know, right before Jesus comes back in Revelation. So all of the signs are pointing to the fact that Jesus has not come back yet. And I don't know that to be true. But if you look at Revelation, it seems to me like we're just on the cusp of the mark of the beast being issued. I mean, within 2 to 3 years of it. And anybody that would deny that the mark of the beast is being made right now, you just don't understand what Elon Musk is doing. You don't understand what Donald Trump is doing with the foreign policy. I mean, this is end times prophecy right in front of our face. I could go on for hours about it. For example, in Ezekiel 38, you have you have these two beasts fighting. One of their feet does not touch the ground during a section of the fight. I think this is literally referring to the modern air assault that the United States is doing to Iran. How there's no feet touching the ground yet, but there's a hovering army, an army that doesn't touch the ground. That is described in Ezekiel 38. I believe that all of these prophecies that are coming true point to Jesus not coming back yet. Now, the people that believe in the little season and that Jesus has come back and that Satan has been released once again for a short amount of time, like I said, you're not crazy for believing this stuff, and I really listen to what y'all are saying. So believers in this little season, they will point to the Tartarian infrastructure all over the world and say that this Tartarian infrastructure, which is found in Russia, Iran, America, Europe. I mean, Tartarian infrastructure, that picture right there is from the Chicago World Fair. Thanks for pulling that up, Ghostman. But anyways, the pictures you're seeing now are pictures of Tartarian infrastructure. People that believe in the little season specifically will point to pictures like this grandiose architecture, and they will say, "Hey, this was a only built because of the 1,000 years that Jesus was here, and we flourished so much that our architecture was this much better." Now, I do believe in ancient Tartarian infrastructure being made by advanced civilizations. I honestly think that the Nephilim could have built them. I think that's a picture of the pyramids up close right there. But yeah, so as far as Tartarian infrastructure goes, I really believe that giants built them. But I don't believe that all of this Tartarian infrastructure was built during the 1,000 years that Jesus reigned on the earth in peace and harmony. In fact, I don't think that 1,000 years has come yet. But when it comes to Tartarian infrastructure, I think that obviously something more advanced than what we have today, like the little tin box that I'm in right now, you know, that the modern infrastructure we have is nothing compared to these cathedrals, to these pyramids. I mean, can you see how immaculate and beautiful that is? And the doors are like 20 foot tall. Why were the doors so big? It indicates to me that advanced big people built these structures. And I know that sounds crazy, okay? But what's even more crazy is when you see a picture of Chicago in 1800s. I mean, this was Chicago in the 1800s right here. This is what it looked like. Did you know that Chicago back in like 1890 was called the Great White City? There was so many white marbled buildings, and since then they've torn down all of these buildings. The Freemasons did, actually, because the Freemasons destroy all of this masonry. That's actually how they got their name. They're controlling the narrative of history. But yeah, people don't understand that better buildings than what we have today were here in the 1800s. People don't understand that. And I already understand that because I've done the research. I know the history, the Tartarian infrastructure that has been here for hundreds of years, most likely actually thousands of years. So, because of this Tartarian infrastructure and all of these strange things in history that our modern textbooks don't account for, a lot of people actually think that we're in a little season. And we could be. Okay. I don't really know. But what I do know is that a lot of these prophecies are being met out of Revelation in the exact order that they said they would be. And to me, it seems that World War III is about to break out and trigger the 7 years of tribulation and the Battle of Armageddon, and then Jesus comes back. I mean, that's just my guess. I don't know what else to tell you. I think it's that real. I think that this war is unlike any other war because the United States is going to lose this one, and then the enemies are going to become the aggressors, and they're going to take revenge and destroy America. And I think that the casualties are going to be so high that it actually will be just like the tribulation was predicted in Revelation. and I'm really not afraid of it. I'm really just awaiting for it. That's also why I'm building up the farm. So I want to tell y'all right now, build up the farm. Armageddon is coming. Okay, there's nothing we can do to stop it, but we can enjoy it. We can have the popcorn ready. Okay, we can watch the show, sit back at the farm, and we'll probably have to fight eventually. But guys, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of persevering that's going to need to be done in the coming days. It's going to be rough. Okay, so hey, we got to be ready to survive. And speaking of, we're going to move on to survival lesson 101: how to start a fire. For if stuff goes down and you're out in the wilderness, you're going to need a fire. Okay, so let's see if I can make one. Like I said, those 5 items is not counting uh any type of fire making method other than me relying on how to make my own fire, because really fire is one of the most important things. So my 5 items did not include a fire making device. I'm going to make the fire old school, buddy. That's my plan. I'm going to give it a go. First things I wanted to show y'all that I've got. I got to have a pocket knife. Got to have my string or my rope, a rock. I've got one stick for my bow, one stick to hopefully start the fire, another plate here to rest this stick on, and then my fire start. Okay, I'm going to move the fire start out of the way for now. The first thing I want to do is turn this bigger stick here into a bow, and I want to cut some notches into both sides of it to catch the string. So but something as simple as this is a notch, and it ought to catch a string. Even something like that ought to catch a string. Now I got to do the same thing to the other side. I've never made a bow drill before, but I reckon that cedar would be the best because it starts up so quickly. Cedar bark will definitely be the best kindling, But as far as this cedar stick producing a ember, I don't know that it will, but we're going to see. For this bow, I picked a very flexible type of wood. I believe it's a prim tree, is what it is. Just real flexible, little bitty. Because this bow doesn't have to have any strength to it. It just has to bend. Just has to make an actual bow. Let's see if I can do it without breaking this stick. I just need enough bend to it to work here. I think that'll work. Even though I cracked it a little bit right there, I think this will still work. I got to tie it off better though. If it's too tight, that would not be good. Let's see if I did it the proper tightness. You really want to be able to take this and wrap it in there. I did it too tight. I gotta untie it now. Just gotta loosen it up a little bit because I'm afraid that's actually too tight. Well, okay, one thing I've got to do regardless is I've got to smoothen this out, so I'm gonna work on that real quick. Yeah, and this stick is not particularly dry at all, so this is not, we're not even working under optimal conditions. This is a real test here. And then at the end of it, well, especially the end that I want to make the fire, I'm going to do a notch, like a pointed little notch on my board here and on the tip of this. I mean, this is about as important as it gets, is can you make the fire? Because if you can't, you're really screwed. I'm going to leave these little wood chips from this notch. I'm just going to leave those wood chips in there. And that's what I'm planning to turn into the embers. You know, this little bit of dust that I'm digging out of here. Or a little bit of cedar chips. I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit more here. I can just guarantee you if this works, we're going to live. You know, now if this doesn't work, I just, it's going to be really hard to live. If you get that fire going, I promise you can live. See if I can turn it. Drilled a hole into that. Hole. That's still a little bit, just a hair too tight on that string, but we're at least spinning it now. You know, we're in the right direction. But I think it needs to be just loosened just a little bit to really get the full heat. I mean, this bowstring is just a lot looser than I thought it would be right now, but it doesn't matter. What matters is if it works, you know. But, you know, this being my first time, I didn't realize it needs to be fairly loose. Well, it's getting warm. That's a great sign. But I'm just happy to see the thing in there and spinning. That's looking good. I really haven't got the thing turning yet, to be honest. I mean, it was spinning, but not how it should. It should really be spinning with ease. There was a lot of friction on it, and I actually noticed my line was fraying pretty quick. But I think this notch actually, as long as I didn't make the stick too weak, you know, and it doesn't snap on me, I think that this notch is really what it has to have. Okay, so I did make that notch, and I think it will help tremendously. That was way too much friction. It wasn't going to spin like we need. We need this thing spinning with ease, man, or it's not going to work. There we go. That's the best so far. That's the best one so far, brother. Wow. Look, it ate my string down to nothing. This stick has to be perfectly smooth. All right, guys. I got bad news. If we're surviving, we're going to go no fire tonight. Because check this out. This stick here, it ain't smooth enough. And our string, it's getting ate up. All right. Look, we're going to sleep cold tonight, no fire. And we're going to think all night about what we're going to do in the morning. Because let me tell you what, in the morning, buddy, we got to pack up our camp gear and we got to head for new ground because this ain't going to work. Okay, no fire every night. Anyways, hey, I'm not giving up. I'm going to try to make this fire. But like I said, right now we're taking a break. Okay, this string is a no go. Thank y'all for tuning in, and God bless you.